JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 3rd of November 2020. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're gonna have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff, guys. Quick apologies for the late start. Did have a few technical issues here, but hopefully you can hear me and see me okay. So now then, as always, before we jump into the charts, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, also a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yeah, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top, guys. So now then, jumping into the charts. Now the first one I want to pick up here is on the German DAX. So the German index yesterday had a nice recovery. I talked about this one, and basically the idea was initially to keep an eye on the 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, which is the high of the 28th of October, and if that continues to push further north, then of course, yes, we could consider those slightly higher levels. But at the moment, basically the situation here is that the index is trying to climb higher. Now, if we look at the cash index right now, we can see that the price is already around the 11,866 mark. So basically, it's just slightly above this this 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci. So basically, there is a good indication that the index wants to go for a bit of a larger correction. Of course, yesterday's nice reversal here did spark a bit of buying interest here. So yeah, maybe this could kind of fall into today's trading session as well. And of course, don't get me wrong, today we do have an important event, if we can say it this way. Basically, the U.S. presidential elections. Of course, keep your eyes on that one. That's going to be quite interesting, or should I say, could be quite interesting, guys. Could be a lot of surprises. So that's why the most important thing I will say is not where it's going to go, either up or down, but have your stop loss in place, guys, because again, the volatility might increase, and a lot of you, well, if you don't place your stop losses correctly, then you know, a lot of positions might get triggered. So sorry, a lot of positions might go the wrong way, if I may say it this way. So that's why it's quite important, guys. Be very careful today. I cannot stress that enough. Today, tomorrow as well, of course. That's but I'll pick up on that tomorrow. But for now, for the technical picture here on German DAX is that yes, we are currently trading on the cash index above this hurdle, above the 23.6% retracement. This means that this increases the chances for a further move towards this 11,957 mark, which is the low of the 25th of June. And slightly above that, we do have the 38.2% retracement of the Fibonacci, which is roughly around the 12,100 zone. And also we have this downside line. So basically, we do have a nice area right here still for a nice decent push to the upside, but this upside might get halted. If, of course, if this downside line does somehow act as a good area of resistance. If it does, then yep, another slide here could be possible. But of course, for now, the idea in terms of how the markets could react. Now the Biden is seen as a less favorable for the equities. So I mean, at the moment, yeah, of course, the polls are showing that he's leading, but of course, let's not forget that anything can happen, and well, the further we go, the more surprises we get. So let's keep that in mind, and let's probably not try to predict the future. Let's wait for that future to happen. Let's see what's going to happen, who's going to come out on the top, and then we'll take it from there. Because again, it's really difficult now to predict what could happen with the market. I mean, of course, like I said, the kind of theory, the logical point of it is that if Biden wins, I mean, that's going to be less favorable for the markets, for the equity markets, and the equities might slide. But if Trump wins, then yes, of course, this could bring the market higher again. So but again, that's theory. How it's gonna work out in real life, let's wait and see, guys. So for now, basically looking at this picture, yes, there is a potential for this one to drift a little bit higher here on DAX, but of course we'll keep an eye on these levels that I just mentioned. Actually, I've wanted to start off with Shanghai Composite, but anyway, I've picked up on DAX here. But anyway, Shanghai Composite, guys, that had a nice reversal here to the upside. The index is closed, if I'm not mistaken, already. Yes. So. Yes, basically it recovered somewhat, failed to reach this upside line that I kept talking about, and yesterday I talked about a lot about this, and then reversed back to the upside. Of course, don't get me wrong, it still got held here by this 3,280 zone, which also coincides with the 21-day EMA. So basically this area did prove itself to be as a nice area of resistance. Now what I'm going to do here is probably I'm going to lower my target here for the upside. So basically my barrier becomes this one right here, because it proved once again that this 3,280 zone is kind of a strong one to watch. I mean, previously it was acting as a good area of resistance here on the 9th of October, then at the end of October, and yep, it's doing the same thing again. So basically a nice good pop above it may in a way open the door towards higher levels, and then we could start considering maybe a possible move towards this little target right here, the 3,368 mark, and then of course we'll take it from there. Now jumping into Hang Seng index here. So the index managed to pop nicely above this downside line. It continues to trade still, so keeping an eye on this downside line, of course, and we'll see how and where this daily candle is going to end up being. But if it stays above this downside line, but for example remains below this hurdle, this highest point of October near the 24,970, then we'll be a little bit more on the cautious side, because as you can see here, it did pop higher initially, but this 200-day EMA did provide a fantastic resistance area, and now basically the index is struggling, or should I say it's kind of waiting for the next kind of little push here. So if we do get that push above the highest point of October again, and then we clear this 200-day EMA, now this is where it could become very interesting for more buyers, guys. So keep your eyes on that one. In terms of the downside, well, I would prefer to see not a drop below this area, but somewhere below this little hurdle right here, the 24,679 territory, which marks the high of the 29th of October and the low of today. And then yes, of course, we could consider a bit of a decline here towards this 24,102 zone, roughly around here. So but again at the moment, it seemed like the downside could be slightly off the table, but probably wait maybe for this daily candle to finish, and then we'll see what we can do after. But again, if it closes nicely here above this October high, then well, I mean, it increases the chances for a further push north. So let's see how all this is going to play out. Now jumping into another index, DXY, the dollar index, and here the index managed to stay yesterday above this 93.90 level, the highlighted one area, this highlighted area right here, but it kind of is now declining. So I mean, is drifting back south. However, on the positive note is the fact that the price is still hanging in here, hanging above this 93.90 level. So keep your eyes on that one. In a way, if it stays above this area, then yes, a further move north here could be possible towards this 94.65 territory, and then of course we'll take it from there. This is I'll keep on mentioning the same idea, guys. If you watched my videos, you probably are already tired of me talking about the same kind of idea, but yep, at the moment I'm waiting for that, and I'm waiting for this one to kind of make a move here, and for me, ideally I would like to see this one pushing towards this 94.65 territory. So let's see how all this is going to play out, but for now, yep, it is how it is. We need to probably wait and see if this index is going to rebound from this 93.90 zone. So if it drops back inside this territory right here, I'll take a bit of a neutral stand, because again, for me to consider the downside, I would need to see a drop below this hurdle somewhere around here, and then 93.12, and then yep, we could consider lower areas. Gold is a little bit of a mess. It struggled. It didn't move really below this hurdle, below this 1877 territory. Instead, it reversed and pushed higher. It's now testing this 21-day EMA again, and is very close to this downside line taken from the high of the 18th of August. Yesterday, if you remember, I talked about this one, and basically what I was saying, that in order to consider the downside, I need to see a good drop below the 1863 territory here, but that didn't really happen. Or if you want to aim for some higher levels, wait for a break of this downside line, and at least a push above the 1911 zone here in order to consider some higher levels. But at the moment, yep, it's not really doing anything here. I mean, for now it's stuck, so most likely, well, probably guess what, I mean, it's waiting for the results, or at least part of the results. So let's see how all this is going to play out today. But again, for now, I'm keeping an eye on these two levels on the upside, 1911, and for the downside, 1863 territory right here. Now, jumping into WTI oil, we had a nice reversal, a beautiful reversal yesterday to the upside. The commodity made its way towards this upside support line, found very good resistance here, and today, this morning, it also did find resistance, kind of ignoring this little overshoot here, but found good resistance near this upside line, underneath this upside line, I would say, and drifted back down. So basically, this idea kind of that I talked about previously, where, or should I say yesterday, where I was saying that if this area right here, the 34.38 zone, does provide good support, we could see a bit of a rebound. Now, my initial rebound was only up until here, somewhere near the 36.15 mark right here, but as you can see, it overshot it. Okay, that's fine, because still the upside scenario for me could come not from here, but let me just adjust this very quickly. Probably this level is no longer valid, and the upside, I would consider the upside somewhere from around here, the 38.31 zone. That's marked by the low of the 26th of October, and then of course, yep, on a break of this level, we could see some higher areas again being met. So again, in terms of the downside, if you want to be a little bit more on the cautious side, given that we had a sharp push higher yesterday, probably wait for another drop below this lowest point of September, at least below that, the 36.15 zone, roughly around here. And a nice good drop below it may then, yes, open the door towards maybe lower areas again. So keep your eyes on that one. Now, Bitcoin, quick update on this one. So far, so nice. Yes, we had a nice hold up here near this 13,764 territory. The crypto is now correcting lower. Yesterday it did correct almost bang on. We reached this area, this 13,174 mark. By the way, just a quick reminder, that's the highest point of July, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Yep, that's the highest point of July of 2019. I said that previously that in a way, if this highest point of 2019 near the 13,764 does provide good resistance, then we may see a bit of a correction lower towards this highest point of July of 2019. So far, so nice. Like I said, we are seeing this correction. However, if let me just get rid of this arrow. If this hurdle here fails to provide support and drops, yes, there is a chance for this one to drift lower. However, don't get me wrong, we would be still testing that 21-day EMA, which still could provide a bit of support. But if you see a drop below this hurdle right here, the highest point of August, now this is where maybe it could become a little bit more interesting for more sellers, and this could lead to a bit of a larger correction towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 8th of September, not 18th, but 8th of September. So for now, guys, the main idea, of course, is to see if this hurdle right here continues to provide support. If it does, then we might see a nice rebound here, a move back up, maybe even a break above this highest point of 2019 again, and yep, higher levels could be met. We will start aiming for that 14,000 zone or even the 15,000 marks. But again, for now, that's the game plan. AUDUSD, quick update here. The pair yesterday did remain above this hurdle, the 0.7006 level, or in general the 0.70 mark. Let's round it up a little bit. It did push higher, but for now it's still trading below the 100-day EMA, so the green line shown here. So far it kind of continues to provide decent resistance. Now, if you want to look at some higher levels, now even if we push above this 100-day EMA, I'm not really going to get very comfortable with the upside, because for me the comfortable upside scenario could be on a break here of this downside line and a push above the 0.7158 territory. All this area right here could be a bit of a neutral one, because what we are as I mentioned to you yesterday, what we are forming here is a potential nice descending triangle, which according to all the TA rules, as you know, tend to break to the downside. So of course that happens sometimes in a different direction, but most of the time that these break to the downside. But in this scenario, I mean, even to consider the downside, I would prefer to wait for a nice good drop below that psychological 0.70 territory, and then I'll take it from there. AUDCHF, quick update on this one. So this one is, or should I say, is drifting higher, at least trying to move higher. Now, some of these levels, I have to admit, some of these levels didn't work out apart from this one. So initially I thought maybe this will actually be a nice one, the low of the 12th of June. However, the pair really ignored that level, and instead it preferred this, the low of the 29th of May here, near the 0.6371 zone, from which it kind of rebounded, made its way higher again, had a false breakout above this hurdle, this 0.6493 territory, which I'm still keeping an eye on, because as you can see, previously it acted as a very nice area of support. Now it's playing the role of resistance. Even if we see the rate popping above this area, that doesn't mean that it's now the upside and only the upside. No, because we still have this downside line taken from the high of the 2nd of September, which could provide good resistance. So in other words, we could see a nice curve here to the downside again. So basically, for now, basically something like this here could be possible if the rate moves above this the 0.6493 territory. If it moves above this downside line and starts climbing, now let me just have a look at here. No, that's not gonna work. Probably we could start looking at the upside, maybe on a push above the 0.6571 zone. But don't probably I'll re-look at this again, because depending on how this is gonna move, maybe actually one of these levels will become a more important one to watch. So for the upside, but again, for now, like I said, I'll wait I'll wait for a break of this downside line first before kind of, let's say, targeting higher levels. USDCAD quickly, before I ran out of time because my colleague is jumping in about 5 minutes. So USDCAD, now it drifted lower. It moved below this 1.3240 zone. I talked about this yesterday, and basically now the pair is in my little neutral zone, because if I want to look at some lower levels, I would prefer to see a drop below the 1.3180 territory right here. But at the moment, it's nowhere here. It's not really going to do this what I assumed is going to do earlier, because this level got broken nicely, sharply here. So this 1.3240. If the pair starts climbing back above this hurdle, then maybe I'll start looking at some higher levels, but still I'll be a little bit more on the cautious side, because I would prefer to see a push above this little territory right here, somewhere below the somewhere above the 1.3278 zone, and this little inside swing low here, and then consider some higher levels. But for now, I'm just gonna leave this one and wait for a move through one of my levels here. Either if I see a drop below the 1.3180 zone, that could open the door towards lower areas like the 1.31 zone, or if we get a push back above the 1.3278 territory, then yes, maybe I'll consider some higher levels here. GBPJPY, now this one's a little bit of a mess here, to be honest. First of all, let me just clear up the chart and start fresh. Now, we are seeing a bit of consolidation here, and basically if we look at the 4-hour chart, you'll see that it is kind of forming a bit of a pennant here on the 4-hour chart, because you can see we had a nice reversal here yesterday to the upside. Here we have a nice pole, and now we're having this nice little pennant. Let me just draw this very quickly. So something like this right now could be basically what it means, that this could be seen as a nice bullish flag here, not from here, but from around here. So a nice bullish, not flag, but bullish pennant. But again, we in order to consider the upside here from the short-term perspective, probably what you could do here is keep your eyes on this level right here, the 135.45 mark. That's the current highest point of today. A nice good pop above this area, yep, could open the door towards higher levels, because at the same time it would be placed back above the 21-day EMA. In terms of the downside, I would prefer to wait for a drop below this level right here, the low of yesterday, near the 134.85 zone, and then aim for some lower levels. So keep your eyes on that one. Quick update on Euro Aussie, nice rebound here from this upside line. But again, as I've mentioned before, I need to see a push back above the 1.6886 level before getting excited with the upside. And for the downside, a drop below the 1.6461 territory here is still required. Basically the same analysis as from yesterday. And finally, Euro USD. So this pair is flirting with this 1.1612 territory, so I'm gonna wait for a break below this area before considering some lower levels. What could happen right now is the pair could travel a little bit higher here, test this hurdle, and then reverse back down. However, if it climbs above this area and stays above this area, this 1.1696 territory, now this is where it could become a little bit more interesting for more buyers. But in that scenario, I would also like to see a push back above at least above the 21-day EMA as well. So let's keep an eye on that one. Also, of course, the picture might change, of course, as you know, due to certain events that are happening today, of course, you know. So we've talked about that in the beginning of the video. But keep your eyes on that one, guys. I mean, keep your eyes on the markets. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place. If you go for a small loss, that's fine, as long as not a huge one. I mean, yeah. So be very careful, guys. Stay safe, and join my video later on. My traders tea time, 14:15 GMT time. For now, guys, I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful trading day. Stay safe, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.